A billionaire and a desperate man walk into the same room. Nobody can tell them apart by their clothes. Nobody can tell them apart by the words they use in the first 30 seconds. But within 5 minutes, everyone in that room knows exactly who holds the power. Not because of the money in either man's account, because of something far more revealing. One of them needs something from the room. The other does not. And the moment you stop needing anything from anyone, you become something almost nobody in the modern world ever experiences: free. There is a particular kind of suffering that has nothing to do with poverty or hardship. It is the suffering of constant need, the need for approval in every conversation, the need for validation after every decision, the need for someone, anyone, to confirm that you are doing this right, that you are enough, that you matter. This need does not announce itself loudly. It hides inside ordinary behavior, checking your phone repeatedly after sending a message, rehearsing what you will say before a difficult conversation, not to communicate clearly, but to manage how you will be perceived, changing your opinion slightly depending on who is in the room. These are not character flaws. They are the symptoms of a mind that has outsourced its sense of worth to other people, and in doing so, has handed those people an invisible leash. The Stoics built their entire philosophy around dismantling this exact mechanism. Epictetus taught that there are things within our control and things outside our control, and that all suffering comes from confusing the two. Your reputation, other people's opinions of you, whether someone likes you or approves of you. These are entirely outside your control, no matter how desperately you try to manage them. Your own judgment, your own effort, your own integrity. These are entirely within your control. The moment you stop investing your peace of mind in the things you cannot control, you become, in the most literal sense, untouchable. Not because nothing can happen to you, but because nothing that happens to you can take away the only thing you were ever actually relying on. Now imagine this. A wealthy man and a struggling man both walk into a negotiation for the same property. The struggling man needs this deal. His finances depend on it. Every question the seller asks lands on him like a small test he is desperate to pass. His voice rises slightly with eagerness when the conversation goes well. His face tightens almost imperceptibly when it doesn't. The seller, watching all of this, begins to sense exactly how much room he has to push. He pushes. The price climbs. The wealthy man enters a similar negotiation the following week. He has other properties. He has other options. He listens to the seller's pitch with genuine but unattached interest, the way you might listen to a stranger describe their vacation. When the seller hesitates on price, the wealthy man simply nods and says, "That's all right. I have other things to look at." He is not performing indifference. He genuinely does not need this specific outcome. The seller, sensing this immediately, becomes the one who starts working harder to make the deal happen. The price drops. Not because the wealthy man negotiated more skillfully, because he negotiated from a place that required nothing, and need is the only thing that can ever truly be exploited in a negotiation. This is the financial architecture hidden inside emotional freedom. Every dollar of debt you carry, every expense that exceeds your income, every financial obligation that creates urgency in your decision-making. These do not just cost you money. They cost you negotiating position in every single interaction where money is involved. The person who has built real financial independence does not need this job, this client, this deal. And that simple fact changes the chemistry of every transaction they enter. They are offered better terms, not because people are kind to the wealthy, but because desperation is detectable, and detectable desperation always gets priced accordingly. Building financial freedom is not just about accumulating money. It is about removing the leash that need places around your neck in every room you ever enter. But here is what almost nobody tells you about this kind of freedom. It is not the absence of caring. It is the presence of an unshakable internal foundation. The person who needs nothing from others has not become cold or empty inside. They have simply built something inside themselves that no external rejection, no failed negotiation, no social disapproval can touch. This is not numbness. This is the deepest form of security a human being can develop because it does not depend on circumstances that are constantly changing and entirely outside your control. So how do you build this? 3 principles. Write these down. First, separate your identity from your outcomes. You are not your job title. You are not your relationship status. You are not the number in your bank account or the opinion of the last person who disagreed with you. These are circumstances passing through your life. They are not who you are. When you stop fusing your identity to your circumstances, the loss of any single circumstance stops being able to destroy you. Second, build internal validation before you need it. Most people wait until a crisis forces them to develop inner strength. Do not wait. Practice making decisions and holding positions without seeking confirmation from others, even in small, low-stakes moments. Order the meal you actually want without checking if others approve. State your opinion before hearing everyone else's. This muscle, like any other, must be trained in small moments before it can support you in large ones. Third, build enough financial and emotional reserves that no single relationship, no single client, no single outcome can hold you hostage. This is not about needing nothing from anyone in an extreme or isolated sense. It is about ensuring that your well-being has multiple sources rather than a single fragile point of failure. The person with one source of validation, one source of income, one relationship defining their entire sense of self is the person most easily controlled. The person with many sources is the person nobody can move. The person who needs nothing is not the person who has given up on connection, on love, on success. They are the person who pursues all of these things from a place of strength rather than desperation, and in doing so, attracts far more of all 3 than the person chasing them out of need ever will. Freedom is not isolation. Freedom is the quiet, unshakable knowledge that you would be completely fine even if every external thing you wanted disappeared tomorrow. The less you need, the harder you are to control. Freedom is the highest form of power. The next law drops soon. Until then, stay dangerous.